Hi everyone, I'm Anna Hyatt. This is Founder Fireside. 3 founders, 1 honest conversation. Let's get into it. Today I'm sitting with 2 people who I have been really looking forward to speaking with. And the reason is simple. They are not just talking about AI, they are in the trenches, building it, selling it, and dealing with real business owners every day. They have each spent decades in sales and technology. Jeff comes from a sales background. He spent years at TD Bank and First Data, then got into email deliverability, then funnels and automation, and now AI. Andrew is the opposite. He came up through tech, Scotiabank, NCR, smart home systems. He is the one who knows how to make things actually work. 2 very different backgrounds that ended up solving the same problem. Today they run V1 Leads together, and they are sitting right where AI meets human connections in sales, which is exactly what we are here to talk about. Jeff, Andrew, welcome to the Fireside.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for having us, and good seeing you again as well.
It's great to be here.
This is awesome. So what time is it at your end, and where exactly you guys are?
Yeah, so we're located in London, Ontario, Canada. So right now it's 1:23 on a shiny but cold Friday afternoon.
Oh, nice. And you are heading into the weekend.
Yes.
Yes. Anything special planned, or is it a work weekend, or is there anything special planned for you guys?
I don't know. Do we have some work on our plate, or are we gonna?
Yeah, you know what? Every weekend is a work weekend. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
because you're going to do some stuff with family, but you also have the laptop there because you're programming something or doing something, for a client. So it's always work.
I think it's important to you have that balance between a work life, obviously, and the home life. And my wife, I'm married. I have a son, 27 years old, and I'm reminded of that every weekend. So yeah, keeping that balance, I think Andrew and I both agree is essential.
That's really, really cool. So, all right. So before we get into the big stuff, I want to hear how this all started, because you 2 are very different people. How did a sales guy and a tech guy ended up building an AI marketing company together? Who found who?
Yeah, great question. I think it was about 2 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, so about 2 years ago, we had a mutual business acquaintance introduce us. And, when I look at either, partnerships or hiring somebody for the team, I'm always reminded that saying, that phrase, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So when I was introduced to Andrew, his innovation, his tech background, and, thinking outside of the box was exactly what I needed in a partnership, right? I'm very linear when it comes to my builds and approaches with clients. And Andrew gave me that, 360 view, what can be done.
Cool. That's awesome. So you both
I find for myself that what really works with Jeff is that he has a long tenure in this space, right? I'm the kind of person who's trying out new technologies and doing all these different things. And when I finally met Jeff, I thought he's in a space I've always wanted to jump into. And he's been very good at it, very successful in this space. So I thought this is really good because coming in with my tech background and him understanding and knowing that whole sales and everything that he has, and we're both ex-bankers. So at the end of the day, right? So we have a really good synergy in the way that we work together because our ideas, we think alike in the way of technology and embracing new things and new emerging tech.
Yeah,
That's
we
great.
still haven't decided who's Batman and who's Robin though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So tell me a little bit about V1 Leads and what exactly your mission is.
Yeah. So I think in my previous life, I worked for I worked with a lot of SMB business owners from a merchant perspective, and I think the one thing as we lead into this AI era is how to educate merchants of the benefits of AI, and then how to show them how they can implement it into their business. And I think one of the biggest struggles right now is, I think, obviously, unless you've been living, underneath a rock or on a desert island somewhere, everybody knows about AI. What can AI do for my business? I think is the number one question that we get almost on a daily basis.
That's a good point. Okay, so you both work with business owners every day. When a business owner comes to you and says, I want AI to handle my sales, what do they actually think is going to happen versus what actually happens? So how do you see the expectation and what actually AI can, help them
Yeah.
with?
I think every client's different. I think some think that we're going to sprinkle fairy dust on their business model and their revenue is going to increase 3 times or threefold in the next 30 days. I think realistically, though, we always set the expectations of the build, and everybody's build is different when it comes to their digital or AI assistants. So we set the expectations for the first 30 days. We're always doing little tweaks here and there and what have you. And then ultimately, I think from the merchants or the client's perspective, when they start to see their calendar, or the calendar filling up with appointments, or the phones ringing with appointments with pre-qualified leads, then they see it working, right? Then they sort of had that moment of faith where they step over that line and say, you know what, this actually is going to do good things for our business. But it is important, I think, to sort of lay out the roadmap as to the deployment. They have to change things on their end in regards to their sales team and their outreach with these leads, because as you know, bottom line, if you send a client or a merchant nice warm leads, but if their sales team is not engaging them, they still have a problem, right?
Okay, that is so interesting. So let's talk about a little bit. Let's talk about AI chatbots and other tools that are flooding the market. AI tools, especially that are flooding the market right now. Where do you see this flood of AI chatbots and calling agents actually heading? Like, what is next?
When you think about it, and anybody who's been watching what's happening now in the whole AI world, we've got these Claude bots and these mold bots and different things that are coming out, right? And I was just saying to Jeff, I go, we're going to enter an era where we have 2 types of customers that's going to land on our website. We need to be able to design our websites for these 2 types, right? It's like it's a dual path optimization kind of approach, because what's happening is today when our customers are asking for the design of the websites and deploying AI, we're really focusing on the human feel, right? And so anything we can do that really enhances on the human feel, that's always a great thing. But there's the unseen visitor that comes in at 3 a.m., a deployed bot from someone's computer sitting on their desk is asking them to check the prices on this or check out these 4 companies, help me make a decision. We're going to be in a place where here's my credit card, go and make a purchasing decision based on these factors. Are we programming our websites to this type of nighttime invisible customer? Those are some of the things that we need to think about, and how's AI on our end, under our control, going to be able to address that new type of customer.
Oh, that's a very interesting point. I mean, really interesting. I never thought about it, to be very honest. And okay, so here's what I'm curious about. 2 years from now, what do you think is going to kill the chatbot wave, or what will happen? What will replace them? And
Yeah, piggybacking off of what Andrew said with OpenClaw or ClaudeBot, I should say. I think it's OpenClaw now. I think what's going to happen is retailers, merchants of all different niches are going to be able to actually purchase, download in some shape or form, whether it be hardware-based or completely cloud-based, their own customized digital assistants, but ClaudeBot style, right? Or OpenClaw style. In other words, it's going to be much more advanced. There's going to be a memory feature. It's going to converse back and forth. And again, I think, if I was a roofer, for example, and in the future I say I need to have some type of an AI or a digital presence that is going to be able to actually talk with customers, converse with them, grab their information, the requirements of their roof or whatever, relay that to the sales team, talk to the sales team, tell them about the conversation they had with the client. So it's going to be more immersive. I think right now what's happening with digital assistants like conversational voice is that it's very reactive right now. I think in the future, it's going to be going both ways. It'll be more conversational and of course, more options and more depth.
How do you think that, what is left to differentiate one business from another business who are using these bots behind? So imagine a world where we all have really cool AI bots on our website. What would be the differentiator? How would we be able to differentiate our businesses then?
Well, I'll say it like this. I mean, today, before AI, it was all based on the skill that us as humans have in a sales space, in the way that we present our digital footprint, in the way that we set out a sales structure. It was all dependent upon us and what we either learned in school or learned along the way. And then I think when we get into that stage where everybody's using AI, it all comes down to the AI orchestration and how you set everything up and the prompting, right? So you're going to see a space where everybody's using AI, but nobody knows how to deploy it properly. Nobody knows how to orchestrate what it's supposed to do, right? I mean, Jeff and I, we talk about it, and I was even thinking we need to get to a point where if we're going to have a digital agent that's on our site waiting for customers, right? And this is an unseen, this is ignoring all of the pictures, all of the graphics, all of the work we make into looking it great. Then you can imagine something like a flat file that's there, or something that basically is there ready to talk to an AI and have the ability to negotiate price or talk about things and work through the whole sales cycle. So essentially, whoever's going to be the best at taking an AI agent through a funnel process, right? Without the colors and the glitz, right? And knows how to prompt and orchestrate AI properly, that's where you're going to see people to be able to manage that and be miles ahead of those who are just discovering it and thinking it's just an automated tool. It's not just automation, it's orchestration.
I see. So, okay, I'm going to be a devil's advocate here for a second, because I think someone listening right now is thinking this. OpenAI just released agents that can shop for you, book for you, research for you. Google is doing the same. If my AI agent is going to talk to your AI agent to make a purchase, why does any of this matter? The human is already being removed from both sides. So
yeah, great question. I mean, I think ultimately there has to be a huge, well, depending on the the purchase or the amount. I think at some point in time there's always going to be human intervention. For example, if I was buying a car, I would love to have an OpenClaw AI assistant shop all the cars in my area and the prices and the features for me, and maybe even find out the pricing and the location. I think though, ultimately though, I don't know if I would trust my digital assistant to purchase a $70,000, $80,000 car. So I think there's always going to be that human intervention, but taking a step back, I think we're going to have to, we build our AI solutions to deal directly with humans. Mm-hmm. I think now what's going to happen is we're going to have to look at the perspective of our AI solutions dealing with other AI solutions, right? And how do they react? what information do they take back to their owner, and how do they relay it? So that adds a layer of complexity, I think, in regards to, because Andrew and I, obviously every time we do a build for an AI assistant, we're always thinking about what is the customer, like the CEI, the customer experience like, right? And now we're going to be looking at what's the customer experience like for an AI assistant.
Cool.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I love that answer. It actually connects to something I really want to dig deeper, and something that I really wanted to ask Jeff. You have spent 10 years building funnels and conversion systems. When you audit a new client's website, what is the most common thing you see that makes you think you are literally watching money walk out of the door? Like, what are the results when you audit somebody's websites?
Yeah. Politely at first, we never want to sort of insult. Actually, I had a call literally about 4 days ago with a landscaping company, and the website was pretty much a dog's breakfast. And even though I didn't say it like that, but it was the wife that actually had built out the website who was on the call. So you do have to be careful. But I think websites are really good at branding, promoting the brand, making people that land on the website understand what the brand is about. I think it does a lot for reputation. So if you land on a professional looking website and it's polished, I think that goes a good distance as well. I think where websites fail though, is typically they don't follow a sales process. You land on a website that's, anywhere from 5 to say 10 pages. What happens is the conversions are low. The websites are one of the lowest converting tools out there because people enter into a digital spot where you can go anywhere. About us, services, pricing, what have you. So I think what we do when we talk to clients about their website, because as you know, we could put any AI assistant or a digital chatbot on a website, but if the website doesn't have some type of a sales flow, then it's going to get lost. Right? So we start there. And one of the frameworks that we use is AIDA. So attention, interest, desire, and action. And AIDA, or AIDA, was originally, I think, back in the 60s for radio advertising. But it follows a framework of the human psychology of making a purchase. And I think a lot of people, I know when I first did my website, I didn't really care about what other people thought about my website initially. It was what I thought looked good. And really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think, it's what my clients think. It's what my leads think and how they interact with that and make sure it's a good, customer experience.
Are there any tools available, or they don't know how to use those tools? So how do you see this in a bigger perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of tools out there. I think the majority, and Andrew would definitely, I think, agree with me here. I think the majority of clients in different niches that we deal with, they're really good at running their business. They're good at knowing their business. But when you deal with the SMB market, right? So small to medium-sized businesses, typically they don't have their own marketing department. Typically they don't have a marketing person. Sometimes it's a son-in-law or a daughter or somebody trying to piece it together. So I think it's outside their comfort zone. And that's why they rely on marketing agencies like us to sort of help them and give them some type of direction in regards to that. We talk about tools like obviously Knock Knock, GHL, there's many tools out there. And I think, again, Andrew, chime in and let me know, but I think the majority of our clients, probably over 85%, never even log in. They don't want to know anything about it. They just want it to work, right? They're too busy keeping their business afloat rather than learn an email automation or how to prompt a digital assistant or whatever.
Yeah. And so why do you think businesses, they just let their visitor leave without doing anything about it? I mean, there's a huge traffic loss. I think it's about 97, or at least, I mean, the conversion is 2 to 5%. Maximum it would go to 5%. It's a huge traffic loss. And once again, I keep coming back to this question, how it can be prevented.
Yeah.
You know, when
Well,
you
I
think
don't
about
think.
it,
Sorry, go ahead, Adrian.
okay, the way I look at it is, people are out there getting websites. Why? Because everybody else has one. That type of mentality has anybody looking for anyone that can build them a website for $99, right? And so what happens now is they're more thinking of the fact that I just need to have one, right? And really what needs to happen is for people to understand that this is literally like your digital brochure that represents what it is, and everything that you put in that page, and then have a funnel at the end of it to pull them through your sales process. Until they start to understand that that is the key reason why they need to have the website rather than everybody just has one, then will they really start to understand that they need to have some tools. And then it's understanding the right tools, right? And so Jeff and I, we kind of explain to them that here are the tools, but especially with AI, the tools are always going to be changing. So let's not focus on the tools. Let's focus on the features. How about we just work on the outcome? So as the tools change, as AI brings these new technologies and all these different benefits and all the features that are going to come there, how do you make them work in the outcome that you want with your existing funnel, with your existing processes? Until they start to understand that, then it's always just, I need a website. And they're just worried about having their URL, make sure it's the right www name. But there's so much more that's on that. And you're right, because yeah, there is a lot of loss of traffic on sites because people are just not building their sites to capture them and pull them through their funnel and sales process.
And I think too, the other thing is that we will do an analysis of the website and the traffic. And I would say probably over half are shocked at the amount of traffic, good or bad, can go both ways, right? That they're getting to their website. We talked to a client and say, you're probably seeing typically, 500 to 600 people hitting your site per month. And you can see by the reaction of their faces that, well, we're not closing 500 or 600 deals a month. So, we have leakage, we have a leaky bucket, and how do we plug that and convert all that lost traffic, especially if they're running ads, into customers.
Okay, cool. I mean, thank you very much for that. And we have been talking about all these conversion problems and the traffic loss problems. I want to bring it closer to home for a second. And I'm going to ask a question to both of you. So when you first got to know Knock Knock, so what did you like most about it? And what exactly stood out for you? So what is there that you really liked about Knock Knock?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, and I think my sales team will agree with me wholeheartedly, is the demo. So, and I'll explain that. When you get a client or a potential client on a Zoom call, you're talking about something that's intangible, for example, SEO or some type of automation or whatever it may be. It's the level of excitement, I think, is mediocre, right? Because you're talking about something that's going to, happen hopefully in the future, right? When we do a demo of Knock Knock, and this actually, I think Andrew and I, we spent hours? We were just talking to each other and video calling each other and seeing how it works. But when we do that demo with a client, you can see the sparkle in their eye. You can see them go, oh, wow, that's cool, right? And we show them exactly how we use it as an agency to engage our website visitors, right? And typically, somebody hits the website, we don't jump all over them. We give them a couple of minutes to navigate, and then we fire off a simple text saying, hey, is there anything we can help you with? Which would prompt, in some cases, yeah, I have a question about this or that. And they'll say, well, hey, do you want to have a quick video call? And at that point in time, I think there's a little bit of a, well, what do you mean? And you're like, well, how's this going to work, right? And all of a sudden, it's dialing through, right? And so this is where I think now people are seeing, like, Knock Knock is such cutting edge, where they're seeing this new technology and a new way to interact with their website visitors on top of the digital voice and conversational AI, that it's a totally different experience. And I told my guys, I said, look, you're not selling. It's a demo. You're not selling the drill. You're selling the hole, right?
That's cool. And Andrews, what stood out to you?
Well, see, I'm the kind of person who looks at something and I said, hey, that's good. What it's doing today, that's great. But I always think about what it could do as well. So I'm always looking forward. And the moment that I actually logged into the dashboard and I actually watched a client come to the site and fill out a form. I remember when I was about 18 years old, I worked at a shoe store, and somebody would walk in and they'd go straight towards the dress shoes and they'd take a look at the price and they'd sit down and see if their foot can fit in it. When I watched this person come to the website and start to fill out a form, I thought, this is just like the shoe store, because I saw what they clicked on, I saw what they're filling out, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. Now, I also think, what else we can use it for? You've got somebody who's calling and saying, I've got water spilling out of my kitchen sink, right? And they're sitting there on the website, they click, and now they're invited into a video call, and the plumber could say, show me, right? You know, if a real estate agent is talking to somebody, you know, and they said, listen, let's just jump on this video call. Okay, why don't you walk me around your house and show me your kitchen, you know, the master bedroom, what does that all look like? Knock Knock enables that experience in which you can go immediately from what appears to be just this digital website, brochure, beautiful graphics and pictures, into a full human, right, leveraging camera, not just chat, but camera, to join together two worlds of customer and provider, and be able to, and it facilitates it on such a faster level without that. So to me, I think it's amazing, and I'm still thinking of all the different things that can be done with it. So it's kind of like sky's the limit when you take a look at this platform.
Oh,
trying to make sure he doesn't break anything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Let's move on to our next question. How much do you think people are actually aware about AI implementation in their business? Like beyond ChatGPT and a few other LLMs, how well do business owners actually understand what AI can do for them right now?
Low. So again, going into the SMB segment, I think everybody's aware of AI. I think we moved into the stage where a lot of business owners, I should say, are being inundated with, oh, AI can answer your calls, AI will book your appointment, AI will give you X number of leads per month. So I think that's kind of the stage that we're at right now. But it's more than that. It's the ability to engage people that are at a very early stage, buying stage, to be able to educate them, answer their questions, warm them up, and then take that information, book it into an appointment, and then on the back end, follow up. Because not everybody else who makes a purchase at the same time. So I think with these type of advancements, it's going to be a game changer. But right now, and I think Andrew, I think you would agree, the majority of our calls, the first portion of the call that we have with potential clients is more of a demo / educational perspective, because they're still trying to figure out, I could type into ChatGPT and find out my favorite, martini recipe or how to, right? But if I own a plumbing business, how does that help my plumbing business, right? So that's kind of the first step, is to educate them, show them, and then they sort of get it.
Cool. And so, okay, that's really interesting. And I really want to talk about something that I'm really passionate about, and that is speed to lead, video selling and speed to lead. And why? Because I mean, why we built, this is one of the reasons we built Knock Knock. And Jeff, you're coming from a strong sales background. You've been closing deals face to face, and I think you've done it for years. Now everything is digital. How do you think live video on website is the thing that brings back the face-to-face energy, and it's just another like a shiny tool or feature? Or do you think that it's actually effective and it can bring that emotion and energy back to the digital sale?
Yeah, I think live. I think the next era is live video. I think that interacting with somebody, I don't think you can replace that. I think conversational AI, I think it's good. I think voice AI is great. I think video is the best. And I also think too, it has a place in the sales process, right? Again, I think I mentioned before, where if somebody hits the website, we don't just automatically send out a video call request. That could be considered maybe a bit intrusive, or it can maybe shock them a bit. But when you get people that are visiting your website, sales page, whatever it may be, and they're sort of in that 30-40% through the sales process, live video converts so much higher, right? I've had so many discussions with people via live video on the website, and the sales process has been seamless, smoother, and ended quicker. We got to the end result, where about sometimes with conversational, it takes a bit longer. And I think if you had implemented live video at the end of it, the close rate would have been a lot higher.
Cool. Good point. And Andrew, I think you have exactly the opposite experience. You managed digital sales and self-service experience at Scotiabank. You have seen what happens when you remove the human from the buying process. So what did that teach you?
I mean, as banks had moved forward into ATM machines, I remember, because I was a part of the team that did the mobile banking app, right? We did the design. When we started to see that smartphones was going to be the way to go, right? And so right there, we started to design. There's always been a pushback because there's always questions about security. Okay, that is a major element in the whole human psychology of whether to move forward or not. So we've seen a large pushback. But what happens now is just like with any technology trend, right? If you think pre-pandemic, Zoom kind of like they had their particular set of stats of calls, and even FaceTime, had its particular set of stats. But I'm pretty sure once everybody was in complete total lockdown, and you saw meetings moving into this whole platform of Zoom, and even like what we're doing today, I mean, it's so much easier and easily adopted now because it's just the norm. Same thing happens in the space of moving from that human-centric to this different type of model. It becomes normal now as more people start to do it, and we saw numbers, right? People easily do banking on a phone now, whereas it was unheard of, right? 15, 20 years ago. So they adopt it, but I think security has always been that major piece that people are concerned about, and especially when you take a look at bank-grade encryption, right? Of course, that answers itself, and people have become really comfortable with it. So, but there's always going to be people who just will look at AI in a negative light, only because attached to it is a lot of negative things that AI can do, right? And things you hear in the news and fraud and things like that. But I still see it moving forward. You've got you have a lot of people, like, for instance, your tool is showing the positive light of it, of how you can implement it and manage it. And you've got the human component that's alongside of it. I don't see it being a problem for long. We'll start to see a lot more adoption as the years go.
So let's talk about a small business operator. How do you think speed to lead actually works for a small company where business owners are multitasking and they're busy with their tools, like plumbers and saloon owners? What does it actually look like for them?
Yeah, it's vital. I mean, any service-based business owner, I have a leaky toilet. I go on, Google. I look at the map pack. I find the top guy. I hit him. Go to the website. I need instant gratification, right? I have a leaky toilet. So, it's absolutely imperative. I think that if businesses of all sizes don't adapt some type of a system that allows them instant customer satisfaction and interaction, then I think the CEI index would be horrible. And I go back to one of our biggest cell phone providers here in Canada. I won't say any names, but if I have to phone in and make a change, or if I have to phone in and even try and get a new phone or an upgrade, I could be on the phone on hold over an hour.
Oh.
And we're gonna look back at this. My son's kids will look back at this and say, "You were on hold for an hour to talk to somebody?" And it sounds crazy even saying it now, but as we go forward, I think the attention span of everybody has significantly decreased.
Yes.
And I think we're in an instant gratification society.
Absolutely.
Where we require information quickly, concisely. We need actions done. We want stuff implemented today, not tomorrow. So, I mean, that's the world we live in, and I don't think we're going back to anything but that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally 100% agree with you on this. Okay, I'm going to ask you one question, and if you had to pick one, the fastest response time in the industry or the best sales pitch in the industry, which one wins more deals? Fastest response and the best pitch.
I'll let you take that, Andrew.
So if I had to choose either between a faster response and a best pitch, well, here's the thing. I mean, this is going on what Jeff is saying. We're really in that, I want it now, I want it quick kind of era, right? So I think the fastest response is really where it gives you the opportunity to say, I'm here, I'm ready to do business. If you got a really great pitch, but it took forever for me to get to it, I may never even hear the pitch, right? Mm-hmm. So the fastest response, I think, is always the best, because having the tools available to engage with a client immediately, right? Absolutely. It's like if you're walking, say, downtown, and there's a list of restaurants, right? One restaurant has everybody inside, right? And maybe you could smell the food, right? But another restaurant, as you go a couple of doors down, he's standing there with the menu. Hey, we've got a great special today, right? Our wine paired with this steak, whatever like that, it's Winterlicious. This is our special. Why don't you come in? I'd love to have you come and dine with us tonight. Obviously, someone was there that had that hustle to make it happen. So I think the hustle that you can do with the tools, say like a knock knock, for instance, allows you to flex your hustle, right? As opposed to the person who thinks, I'm just going to wait for my website to bring in my customers, right?
Cool. And Jeff, you agree with it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hand in hand. I don't think it's one solution and that'll solve everybody's problems. I mean, yeah, it's basically part of the whole sales process. It's beginning, middle, and end of lead conversion. So it goes hand in hand. Without that, if you have one broken cog in the wheel, then the whole thing can come down.
Okay, I want to be a devil's advocate again. So, and because I know someone is thinking about it. There is a research that shows buyers want to do their own research first. They do not want to be contacted immediately. They want to browse in peace. Should we let them browse freely, or should we have an agent like Knock Knock that proactively approach them and offer their help?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to that, word intrusive or perceived. And I remember we set up a car dealership, and the GM of the dealership was, he was anti-AI. I mean, I'll just say that. He was anything but AI. And he said that, AI, it's that warm and fuzzy feeling that his salespeople can administer when people come into the dealership. So what we said, look, why don't we run a 60-day trial? We'll build out the systems, we'll put them into your dealership, excuse me, and then let's run it and see how it converts, see how it happens. And I'll be honest, this is probably one of the first dealerships we've ever actually dealt with from this perspective. And the results were fantastic. And the reason why is people wanted to engage the AI first as opposed to a salesperson, because once you engage the salesperson, it becomes real. You know, I think we all have that same feeling. You walk into a car dealership and a flood of salespeople come running towards you, and you're kind of like, right? So we found that a lot of the product knowledge, pricing, trim levels, things like that were all answered by the AI. So the AI did a great job on the first 60% of the sales process. And then the salesperson or the human element stepped in. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think, and I'm just trying to run all different niches, and Andrew chime in, but is there a niche that wouldn't benefit from having an AI on a presence on their website in some shape or form? Maybe if you get into a retailer that sells 1,000 different widgets, wax candles or stuff like that, because it's a very quick sales cycle, right? I know what I want. I log onto the website. I pick my favorite candle for my wife. I put in the checkout. I'm gone. I don't need to converse with an AI about that sale. But when you get into a more complex sales process, more of a consultative sale, I think AI is imperative.
So I respond to a lead in 30 seconds with AI, and my competitor responds in 5 minutes with a real human. Who actually wins the deal? Speed or human, or the authentic, the human authenticity factor?
Oh,
here's the thing. To your first question was, do these tools really help when you have somebody who wants to do all this research? When you think about what are they researching, right? They want to research the product. They also want to research who they're buying from, right? They probably want to research the history. They probably want to compare some price, right? When you take a tool that allows to speed up their research process, right? And you think about it, really, you want to leave a good impression with your customer. AI allows us to do that, right? So if they want to do their research, fine, they're going to do their research, but they'll also remember that a part of the research included the ability to quickly connect, to speak with someone, to have their questions answered. And especially when you can program your AI that says, hey, listen, I know you're here looking. I'm going to send you 3 or 4 links right now, on this particular topic. You're aiding them in their research. So you're making the research actually faster than researching on their own, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. It'll always be needed to have AI to assist with a customer, whether it's a wax candle, right? Or whether it's a new car, right? Having that appearance of I'm here and ready is key.
Oh, wow. Cool. Great point. Now, we have covered a lot of ground. I will ask you some memorable or personal questions. So both of you are welcome to answer, please. What is the most memorable sale or deal you have ever closed? Like, is there any deal that you can still think about?
Well, for me, it was actually, and I don't want to date myself, but it was my first literally big sale. And it was, again, I was in the merchant services world, and I was a rep, and I was a new rep. I was like probably month 1, and I haven't sold anything in 29 days, but I sold a multi-location. It was a carpet rug store here in Toronto. And, I was learning how to sell. And at that point in time, I think I was more of a feature dumper than somebody that actually listens and goes from there. But that was probably one of my biggest sale. But I think when I went back home, and I was so proud I made this sale, but what I did was, because this was my first big sale, I actually analyzed it, and I took a look at what I did differently. And what I found was, again, I was listening more, I was understanding the pain points, and then applying solutions. And I think when Andrew and I talk about new innovation and new products for our company, that's the first angle that we take a look at is, we think it's great, we're geeks, we think it's cool, but does it resonate with our target audience, right? Does it help solve a pain point? Are we making their life better, right?
Cool. And what about you, Andrew?
For myself, whenever a customer is saying, hey, send me a quote, right? If I just give you numbers, I'm going to be like everybody else. So prior to coming into this with Jeff, I was really into the smart homes world, home theater systems and things like that, right? So one of my biggest deals, I had a client, he had a 7,000 square foot home. It was being built, and one of the mistakes that the excavators did is they dug too deep, which ended up with him having a 12-foot ceilings in his basement, which is, nobody gets 12-foot ceilings in their basements, right? He told me that I would be competing against, he told me he was tendering out 5 different companies to try to give a quote on who can build him the better home theater system. Everybody else just gave him these 4-page printouts of here's what you're going to have and everything like that, right? I thought to myself, how do I beat them? So I basically created a 3D visual video using 3D SketchUp. I added music, and I added in there, and I thought to myself, if he has a 12-foot ceiling, he could probably have 2-tier seats. So I put, 5 recliners in the back, 5 recliners in the front on the lower level, and I said, you know what? I'm also going to make it that you don't even see the speakers. So I found an acoustic transparent screen, and I put all the subwoofers and speakers behind the screen. So when you walk in, right? And then I thought, you know what? If this is going to be like a real theater, let's think of what the carpet's going to look like. And I found a manufacturer in Montreal that does home theater carpet, and it actually has movie ticket printed into the carpet. I put that all into the 3D video, and I sent it off to him. Actually, I did a Zoom with him so I can play the video, and I watched him and his wife look at it, and they're like, oh, guys, why nobody else sent a video? Nobody else acknowledged the fact that with a 12-foot ceiling, you can have 2 rows. And that's an 18-inch step, right? So nobody realized that, wait a minute, he's built us steps to get up to the 18-inch there and building everything out. And then you put my speakers behind the screen where everybody else had speakers off to the side.
Wow.
I do this because I like to paint a picture of what it could look like. Don't just look at it what it is, but what can we actually make it? Now, needless to say, I won the bid, and that was the biggest build I ever had because it was a huge theater and 150-inch screen. It was amazing, and I do that even now in this space. When I'm drawing something out, I like to paint a picture. How does it look? What does that look like for your company to attain this type of success with these tools? It's all about the outcome, right? Not the tools, not the features, but what is the outcome? And I know that when they sat down and did their first movie night, right? It's like, wow. And it's really creating that wow.
Yes, wow. And I love that, honestly. And I'm sure whoever will listen to it, it's a gold point, I would say. Really good, really good. Amazing. So is there what is the worst one? Like anything that you think went completely wrong, or anything funny that you, in your whole career, that you want to share with audience?
Oh yeah, the list. I think I think as salespeople, we evolve. If we don't evolve and grow, then unfortunately, I think we get left behind, or we find a different profession, right? So I've been selling for 35 years in all different capacities. And I think, I can think of lots of examples where, it was, again, I go back to that saying, show up and throw up, or feature dumping, or call it whatever you want. But I think, where we are today and how I train my sales team and my guys is that, listen, understand the client, understand the pain points, understand how our solutions can help them, and deliver it in a way that is easily digestible, number one. And then number two, it's something that they can get their heads around. And I think one of the biggest challenges that a lot of marketing agencies have right now with AI is that the AI is so complex. You talk about the integrations, API, webhooks, prompting, all this. When realistically, the end user doesn't care. The end user only wants to see the end result, right? They don't care. I mean, in most cases, I should say this, they don't care about the back end. They care about you, us, solving their problems, making their life better, and driving more revenue or customer experience, whatever it may be, right? And so I find, and Andrew, I think we do a great job grounding each other, because sometimes we'll do a joint call with a bigger client, and sometimes I'll get a message from Andrew saying, stop geeking out, step down, all right, and vice versa. But I mean, I think that's important to understand. And now as we move forward into this AI era, I think we really have to take a look, everybody has to take a look at their sales approach and structure it. And I go back to Anna, what I said at the beginning of this podcast, where, I've been on thousands of calls, where it's painful. It's not very energetic, because the topic is typically blah. But when you're talking about AI, when you demo it, that really changes the whole sales landscape.
Cool. A really, really good point. And okay, we are heading for our last question, and it's for both of you. What advice, if you had to give one piece of advice to every business owner watching this right now, the one thing they absolutely must do in 2026 to build their brand, scale, and grow, so what would it be?
Well, I mean, I think that they have to embrace, or in most cases, they should embrace AI in some shape or form. I spoke with a realtor about a week ago, a very successful realtor in Vancouver. And this realtor was like, you know what? I have no problem with leads. I have no problem with traffic generation. And, so I thought, okay, so what about the back end? And he was like, well, what do you mean by the back end? I go, well, so for example, customer experience, questions, queries, getting back to them in a timely manner, and, email automations. What are you doing there? And we uncovered multiple gaps in his business, because he was forward thinking in regards to lead generation, but wasn't looking in the rearview mirror. So I think I would say to any business owner, I think we are in very fast moving times. I think that AI in most cases can definitely complement, enhance, and grow your business. At the very least, whether it's with us or any other agency, take a half hour, explore the options, see what AI can do for you, and then if it's a good fit, move forward.
Cool. Andrew?
I think my advice to anybody would be, stop trusting the behaviors of humans that are coming to your site, and recognize that there is another new behavior that's coming in, that's going to be probably actually in the next 3 to 5 years, be less humans on your site and more AI agents. And you need to be able to program. You need to be able to make sure that that you are serving the dual path, right? You're going to have humans, you're going to have agents. And what are you going to communicate differently to an agent, AI agent that's visited your site, right? It's no longer about the pictures. It's no longer about the video that looks really great at the top in your hero section, right? What are you going to tell an agent? Because it's going to go meet other websites as well. So you really have to think about it. And it's just as simple as just going into ChatGPT, right? What do I need to have on my site that's going to welcome an agent and ensure that I'm going to get this sale? And then work through that process and start to get into that mindset, because we are definitely going to be there in the next few years.
So agent
it's not going away.
So agent experience, it's customer experience. No more. It would be no more customer experience, agent experience that we need to keep in mind.
Yep.
Agreed. Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Jeff, Andrew, honestly, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for being so open and honest. For anyone who's watching this or who will be watching this, where can people find you if they want a website and AI implementation?
Yeah. Yeah, so v1leads.com. We would definitely love to have a chat with you. Whether you're a merchant trying to find out more about how AI can help you. Even we have a partner program as well. So we obviously help other people that want to get into this space and have no idea, and they want to avoid all the first couple of years of pain. But yeah, v1leads.com, and yeah, we're always open. Even if you just want to have a chat, we're always learning as well. We love to, I mean, obviously yourself, Anna, and Omar. It's been a great experience for us working with you guys on Knock Knock and what we've learned, because that technology was new to us as well. And the support that we received from you and Omar has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Jeff, again, and thank you, Andrew, again for your time today. And I genuinely really enjoyed meeting you guys. This is the end of our episode, and this is Founder Fireside. Thank you, guys.